Alrighty, guys, we're back for Gruul Surprise, and this is a Dragonstorm Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. Of course, we have all four Smuggler's Surprise. It's a 1 green mana instant speed, but it has additional spree costs. So for the additional cost of +2, mill 4 cards. You may put up to 2 creature and or land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. Honestly, that comes in handy. Now, the middle spree cost is why it's actually in here. For the additional cost of 4 and a green, you may put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Beautiful stuff. So the whole goal of the deck list is to get to 6 mana as soon as possible and drop the surprise. Also has a bottom spree ability that could also come in handy. So for the additional cost of +1, creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Very cool card, huh? So the top end, let's look at it. All four Craterhoof Behemoths. Okay, it's a 8 mana 5/5 with haste. When this creature enters, creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So even if the Smuggler Surprise is just hitting 2 behemoths, that ought to be pretty darn good, right? But I'd say the main goal of the deck list is to hit a behemoth and a Calamity, Galloping Inferno. 3 of them packed in. It's a 6 mana, 4/6 legendary creature with haste. Now, when it attacks while saddled, you choose a non-legendary creature that's saddled it this turn and create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. Repeat this process once. Awesome stuff. So, of course, if you surprise a Calamity and a behemoth, you can saddle up with the behemoth and then swing with the Calamity, and now you're getting 2 more Craterhoof Behemoths swinging and attacking at the opponent. I don't know how much damage that maths out to be, but it's a ton of damage, bro. So also here on the top end, we have Ghalta Stampede Tyrant. I figured since we have all 4 Craterhoof Behemoths, it'd be a pretty cool addition. 8 mana, 12/12 with trample. When it enters, put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, I think it'll be all right as a one of. Have a small dragon theme packed in. How about all 4 Twinflame Tyrants really working well with that Calamity as well? Because its ability stacks, which is awesome. So it's a 5 mana 3/5 flying dragon. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals double that damage instead. Awesome. All 4 Bloomvine Regents, it's a 5 mana 4/5 flying dragon, and whenever this creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life. Awesome. And then on the Omen side here, it's a sorcery speed. Claim territory is just 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put 1 onto the battlefield tapped, and the other into your hand, then shuffle. So that is good enough to do some rearranging. We can totally consider this a 3 mana card, and that's a very similar concept to all 4 Overlord of the Hauntwoods here, looking at that 3 mana impending cost very often, and hopefully ramping right into this 3 mana ramp with our turn 1 Llanowar Elves, right? So all 4 of those making the cut. How about some removal? Well, we have 4 Molten Exhales to work with our dragons. Only 8 dragons total, but we don't always have to behold a dragon, first of all. That's a 2 mana sorcery. You may cast it as though it had flash if you behold a dragon as an additional cost to cast it. That deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker as well. So if you do behold a dragon at instant speed, that's pretty darn good, man. So, and again, even if you don't behold a dragon, 4 damage is still decent. More removal, opting for Burst Lightning, actually. I think in a ramp deck list, that kicker cost could really do the thing. Also, it could help us close up some games, especially if you have like Twinflame Tyrant or 2 on the board, right? So now over in the mana base, opting for early land, funny enough, all 4 Copperline Gorge, all 4 Karplusan Forest, oh dear, all 4 Thornspire Verge, and a couple Fabled Passage as well. 8 forest, a couple mountains. The deck list is leaning towards green, but you kind of want to consider it a heavy lean since so much of our ramp relies on that heavy green, right? Now over in the honorable mentions, a ton of important stuff. I thought about more ways to give our creatures haste. Cards like Bitter Reunion or Enduring Courage could have been pretty neat. How about some card draw? I don't got any of that in here. So up the Beanstalk, Outcaster Trailblazer could have been cool. Vaultborn Tyrant feels weird not to play with in here. I am just like full leaning into the ramp, and hopefully that's all we need to do and just have an explosive finish with Craterhoof Behemoth. So there's other top-end creatures we could have considered. Trumpet and Connoisseur for sure, and that would act as more removal, which is pretty important. Tyrannix Rex almost made the cut. How about the Sagu Wildling? Yeah, that's a pretty cool one. And Herd Heirloom almost made the cut, but realistically, the goal is to ramp into the Smuggler Surprise, which Herd Heirloom doesn't do, but I don't know, it'd still come in handy to ramp into all these awesome creatures too, so I considered it. Okay, guys, hopefully that's everything. I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? It should be janky. At the same time, bro, at the same time, I think we can really pop off. Okay, early removal, opponent goes first. No ramp in hand. That's got to be a rare starter, right? Oh, I should mulligan. Our removal takes the Karplusan Forest. Lots to draw into here, though. You know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, that's the whole point of these videos, man. Testing the deck list to their limits. Let's see what happens. Oh, no, not a mountain. Oh, no turn one from the opponent. That's great news. Okay, nice. Copperline Gorge. Do not mind seeing that one bit. It's going to be a Burst Lightning to our face. Okie dokies. Oh no, opponent. Opponent, not like this, bro. Let's see if they find their second mountain here. Oh no, oh, no, opponent. All right, third mana, and we have Molten Exhale open because of Twinflame Tyrant in hand, and we have Smuggler Surprise top ability, but I don't think we want to do that right now. They find another Burst Lightning. Okay, I mean, both deck lists are going pretty slow right now. So, I mean, anyone's game, right? There's a fourth mana. It's funny because we might not even need the ramp. Yeah, like, Smuggler's Surprise could help us find a Llanowar Elves for the turn, but then we won't have the 6 mana Smuggler's Surprise. No, opponent, come back. Not like this, bro. Not like this. Ranks recently reset, so we're just chilling in silver. Yeah, 1 mountain for the opponent, 2 Burst Lightnings. Darn. I gotta be real with you guys, though. If they only missed mana for that first turn, then we actually had 2 Molten Exhales ready to go by the time they found their second mana. I think we had a real chance of surviving early on. Like, if their second mana led them into a nice hasty mouse that we could have just popped with the exhale thanks to the dragon being in hand, like before the swing. And then if they do it again, we have another Molten Exhale at the ready. I don't know, man. If they only missed mana once, I think we actually could have just gotten there. It was a little awkward. We have a lot of ramp packed into the build, not seeing any of it. It's a little weird, but also we have like 3 or 4 different categories of things in the deck list too, so yeah, here we go. Okay, this Verge is only a red source right now. Karplusan Forest would be our green source until we get the Omen. Well, green source for the Elves. If Elves survives, then Omen on Regent. Heck yeah, dude. I like this hand a lot. See if the Elves survives the turn, because if it does, this is good. Ooh, it's a tap land. All right. And they send a 3 steps ahead. They were like, I already have the other 3 in hand, so we're good to go. All right, we'll get the Verge down. Claim territory. This is one of those games where we might actually have to use the Smuggler Surprise top ability just to stock our hand for when we hit 6 mana. Mistrise Village, Calamity, awesome stuff, dude. All right. We can successfully get the other forest down. That's 5 mana already, guys. Let's see what happens to our Llanowar Elves number 2. All right, it lands. Should try to get something out of the opponent's hand, right? probably on their turn will attempt the top spree on the Smuggler Surprise. We probably wouldn't do that if we didn't already have 2. But we do want to set up with Calamity and another creature, so... Alright. Yeah. I'll swing. Why not? See if we get a bounce spell out of the opponent's hand or something silly. No, they just take the 1. Okay. Alright. Pass it back. Experimental Augury. I'm still going to say we attempt the top thing on their turn. Maybe get a counterspell out of their hand, which could be significant when it comes time to actually cast the 6 mana side of Smuggler Surprise. Other than that, it wouldn't be terrible to go ahead and do the top ability while they were tapped out to maybe stock our hand with some creatures. I'm pretty sure they're ready with the 3 steps ahead, especially since they sent one off the top here. Looks like they're going to let us do this. Maybe not. They're thinking about it. Yeah, if they let us do this, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they tap out 2 and we see like a top end, like a Craterhoof Behemoth. Oh, Spectral Denial. They still have 1 open. If we don't actually find that top end, I'm curious if we just wait a little bit longer. Try to get enough mana to do the top and middle ability, which will be, what, 8 mana total? Which, we're close. We just, like, play Calamity for the turn. See, this could be a Spell Pierce for the surprise anyways, so even if we found that other creature... I can't believe the timer's running down. Oh dear, I'm sorry, opponent. Sure, I'll try Calamity then. Can't think of a 1 mana thing that would counter the Calamity. Bounce spell would be the most likely thing at that point. Go, little Llanowar Elves. Oh, that's funny. It doesn't have the same art when they're copied. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before for other things. Okay, 4th mana. If we get to keep these elves around, wow, we get to keep the elves around, guys, which means that's 8 mana, but there's like no way that this Smuggler Surprise lands, right? There's like no way. Maybe we just go for the swing. See what they do. And wait on the surprise. Like, yeah, like top ability. We might miss 2 creatures anyways. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the swing. All right. And you know what we don't see very often, but I feel like we should see a lot more of? Aetherize. I feel like Aetherize needs to make the cut in more builds. Down to 6. Okay, I mean, we can still consider the top ability on the Smuggler Surprise for sure. Or bottom ability for that matter if they have something to target the Calamity. Mind Splice Apparatus. Oh man. Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna hold out on the top and bottom ability on the surprise. Maybe protect the Calamity for the turn. So let's see what they make cheap here with that apparatus. Instants and sorceries. Cost 1 less to cast for this turn now, since it has 1 counter on it. Okay, 1 mana Augury. See what they find here. Oh, proliferate onto the apparatus too, of course. So now things will cost 2 less. Which is going to be very weird to play around. That means like Spectral Denial will just be 1 mana counter unless controller pays 2. So I think I'm pretty happy that I just have things established on the board at this point. And the opponent really needs to find some tempo, some bounce spells, something. Okay, Experimental Augury number 2. Mind Splice Apparatus going up to 3 counters now. Yeah, my hope is they find something for Calamity, we stop it with the surprise, bottom ability, and then also try to get the top ability too. Oh, guys, Saltai colors over there for the opponent. um, okay. These first few games have been a little weird, right? Our poor opponents are having a rough time finding the mana they need. So I wonder now that they have Saltai on the board, what they can do with this swamp, especially since everything costs, all their instants and sorceries cost 3 less, thanks to all the extra proliferate. Yeah, the opponent's thinking. Still got 5 cards in hand. I feel like we might be in danger, but I don't know. Like, I'm still feeling pretty good, but I also feel like we might be in danger here. What we could do... No, since everything's so cheap, they could easily have spot removal and a counterspell for the surprise. It's rough, bro, but I think I'm just gonna go for the surprise and see how this goes. And 3 mana, we'll have 3 open. Spectral Denial for 1. Be interesting to use the bottom ability too. But I'd rather make them pay 2 if it is a Spectral Denial. All right, let's see what happens, because I'm pretty sure this surprise does not land. Oh, hi, Craterhoof Behemoth. I mean, at that point, then the creatures aren't going to land, but I mean, we'll grab the Behemoth in case we top deck another surprise too. Well, I mean, I guess we do have enough mana to cast that, don't we? Overlord of the Hauntwoods could be good too. I think Twinflame Tyrant, though, is going to be the grab, as that would be the best thing to... Another Behemoth as well. Wow, dude. Okay, I'm going to start with Twinflame Tyrant. 4 mana open. I don't think this lands, but we'll try. Then a couple turns in a row of Behemoth could be insane. So Mystical Teachings. Wow, search your library for 1 mana, guys, because of the apparatus. They search for an instant or a card with flash. They just put it into their hand so they can grab whatever counterspell they want. Aetherize! Hi! I was just talking about you, Aetherize. I was just talking about you. Yeah, that's a 1 mana Aetherize, guys. Okay, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. At that point, that's not going to stop me, dude. Because I'll just not swing with the Llanowar Elves, right? We'll just swing with Calamity. They'll bounce Calamity back, and I'm not too sad about it. What would be really sick here is if we actually had one of our, like, Burst Lightnings or something, and an open red source. I didn't keep any open red because of the auto tapper. But anyways, if we had, like, a Burst Lightning and the 2 Twinflame Tyrants on the board, oh yeah, dude, we're in big trouble. we're in a lot of danger, man. This flashback cost is only 3. It's only 2 for the flashback cost. I really like the opponent's deck list, actually, but I'm terrified of it at the same time. So Saltai control for sure. They skipped the mid-range, went right for the control. This mystical teachings with Mind's Place apparatus. I mean, that's super scary, huh? So how many turns of just slamming against counterspells can... Hey, we find the Burst Lightning, actually. Wow, okay. Well, we have... Oh, man, there's, like, so much we could try. No matter what, Mystical Teachings finds them whatever they want. Whatever they want, right? So... I think I'm just going to stay on task here. We're going to go... We'll still have the red open with the forest. Double red paid without damage. We'll go Calamity. We're just going to swing with Calamity because we're trying to play around another Aetherize that they could grab with the Teachings. Looks like they're not going to let the Calamity hit the board again, though. With Apparatus making pretty much their whole deck list 1 mana, probably. I'm guessing this is the main build around, right? They could have 5 different things for the turn. But my guess would be 2 of these mana will be for Mystical Teachings Flashback. Then they have 3 other things to do for the turn. All right. So a big thing here is our Burst Lightning will hit for 4. If it lands, right? But Twinflame Tyrant swinging in the air for 6 anyways. So we might as well still attempt the swing, keep the Burst Lightning to eventually kick it, maybe. They do grab a Spectral Denial, which will be X's 4 thanks to the Apparatus for just 1 mana. We don't have 4 on the board. They'll still have 2 mana open, 4 cards in hand. Which I'm pretty sure... You know what? We probably should full swing, though, because it might not be another Aetherize since they grabbed the first Aetherize with the Mystical Teachings. It's going to be... Oh, that's actually really sick. Okay, it's a 1 mana, a Rakshasa's Bargain. Oh, this is cool, man. I really like the opponent's deck list. It's terrifying. So they can find an Aetherize here easily. Easily, dude. All right. Full swing. See what they find. Oh! Oh no, opponent. I can't believe they missed, right? Holy cow. Holy cow. Look at how cool the opponent's deck list is. Absolutely terrifying. Sultai control. Because of the weird mana cost in the bargain and the apparatus making everything cost 4 less, it was just a 1 mana bargain. Top 4 cards, choose 2 of them, slam them into your hand. The teaching, everything about that was neat. Yeah, I can't believe they missed. They still had 1 mana. It could have been an Aetherize easily, easily. Now, we didn't get to do the surprise thing, but we got to do like that mid-game, mid-range, big creature thing. I don't know what to call that right now. Big Stompy, I guess, right? All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Okay, couple surprise. Ramp with Overlord. We go first. A lot of mana in this opener. I don't mind this, dude. We'll start by thinning the deck list with the Fabled Passage, I'd say. And I'm perfectly fine with just grabbing another forest, but actually, grabbing a mountain also works. And that's probably what I'll do here. Okay, Llanowar Elves from the opponent. Let's grab that mountain. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, we should grab the mountain for when it comes time for like double red spells from our hand and everything. Alright, bottom ability on the surprise open. Get ready for the Overlord of the Hauntwoods next turn. Let's see what the opponent ramps into here with their Llanowar Elves. Honestly, since we went first, if we went second, there could have been a real reason to like mill, or not mill, what am I saying? Mulligan for some of our burn or something, because we have 8 pieces of burn packed in, so early removal is pretty important, I guess. When the opponent goes first, there might be a great chance that they're just going to be an aggro deck list. But at the same time, maybe if we had 12 burn packed in, or even more removal or something in general, maybe a mulligan would be worth it. Outside of that, only 8 cards, you still might not find it on the mulligan anyway, so it really, like, the hand would have to be pretty bad outside of that. Opponent? What's going on, buddy? Please tell me you found your second mana, opponent. If you missed your second mana, opponent, this has been a very weird day of me just getting very lucky, apparently. Yeah, we could get the Verge down successfully here, and we'll get the impending on the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. I don't know what's happening, dude. I don't know what's happening. Find your second mana, opponent, or I'll pass you this forest, okay? If you miss, just have my forest. We'll play it out. We'll have a good time. Yeah, because at this point, I mean, I guess I could still need these, but there's still a great chance of me finding even more mana off the top, even though we thinned the deck list too. Or just ramp at that point. Find more ramp off the top to get the 6 for the surprise. All right, well, the big question is the opponent going to play this out, or are they going to concede since they're missing their second mana? This has been weird, man. Also, that must mean that the opponent has a lot of 2 mana cards to help them out, right? Because they kept a 1 thicket hand with the Llanowar Elves, which means they were anticipating to see the second mana off the top or a 2 mana thing with the elves, right? So, okay, looks like Leyline Binding is the card that they send. I guess we'll go into the Twinflame Tyrant. Okay. All right, dude. This has been weird, man. These matches have been weird for sure, for sure. Like, I don't want to say it's because I lost so much recently, and now the game's balancing it out, because I'm not so sure about that sometimes. But geez, man. I'd also just like to do the Smuggler Surprise thing, like actually do the Smuggler Surprise thing too. So that'd be nice to pull off this game, even though it's like it's a total cheese at that point. But also we have no creatures in hand, which might happen often, dude. We really need to consider the top ability here. Like in the honorable mentions, I had some card draw as well, just like keeping our hands stocked so we actually have the creatures. Yeah, GG opponent. GG. Lands, am I right? Of all the times I could have dropped the emote, that would have been one of those times. All right, let's keep the ball rolling, guys. While I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And then additionally, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, thank you. All right, opponent goes first, and this is an all right hand. Again, I just brought it up in the last game. Since the opponent's going first, we'd really like to see some of that early burn in hand, so that way we can pick away some of those Heartfire heroes and other things like that. But I mean, we can't pass this up. We might have a turn 1 Llanowar Elves into turn 2 Bloomvine's Omen, so it doesn't. It's not likely now that it's a swamp, but maybe. Llanowar Elves, get down! Run! Ah! Rock Curse Rakshasa. All right. Dude. Now we're talking, huh? Really great deck thinning as well. Just helping us find even more creatures off the top is so essential by the time we actually get to the 6th mana for the surprise, which should happen easy peasy, bro. They gonna keep the Rock Curse around for the Unholy Annex probably, right? They could also swing for 5 if they have more demons in hand. Yeah, so they're actually gonna lose 2 from the Unholy Annex. I'd call that worthwhile, and now we just know that the opponent has more demons ready and available. So nothing on 5, guys. So what that means is Smuggler Surprise. We'll get the... They know about the forest, so I'll play the forest. Now they don't know anything else in hand. Smuggler Surprise. Top ability is very likely here. We have Burst Lightning open too then. We'll do it all on their turn. I really hope that Llanowar Elves isn't on their radar. So I'll start by swinging. A tapped Llanowar Elves is much less threatening, right? So... Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to try to stock our hand with some powerful creatures. This is the game. This is the game, guys, where we do the big surprise. Creature of the Schism. Man, some Death Touch creatures is actually pretty brutal. We'll pop the Tiny Bones with the Burst Lightning for sure. All right, we should do this. Make sure we still have the Verge. See what we see. Come on, big creatures. Okay, it's something. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not mad about this. Overlord and whatnot isn't terrible. We'll definitely get rid of the Tiny Bones while we can. Even though hitting their face... No, it's fine. It's fine. Get rid of the Death Touch creature. Oh, Behemoth. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Yes. Now we're talking, man. Now we're talking. Oh, opponent, let me play it out, please. Oh, please, buddy. Buddy. All right. Ghalta and Calamity's fine, because Ghalta drops the rest of the creatures from our hand. No, opponent, come back. Why? Oh, man. All right. Well, crap. So, of course, what we were going to do there is, so Craterhoof gives them all trample. It doesn't give them all haste, however. But, the Craterhoof boost +5/+5 to the Behemoth and the Calamity. And they do get the trample. But we were going to use Calamity's ability regardless. We were going to use Saddle the Behemoth, then swing with Calamity, then 2 more Behemoths come in. I'm upset. I'm upset, guys. I really, really would have loved to play that out. Guys, I'll tell you what, man. Let's just end on a high note. It's a weird day. Let's talk about the deck list. Gruul surprise. Because, look, we go into another game. There's no guarantee we'll pull off the surprise again, right? And I really do like to end videos on high notes. It doesn't happen all the time. So yeah, we're calling it there. I have a lot to say. Number 1, Smuggler surprise. Top ability, probably going to activate it much more than you would expect, especially since we don't have card draw in here. We're going for it, dude. We're just going for the ramp as fast as possible, hit the surprise and win. That's it. Anything past that, and like if you're up against another mid-range deck list or a control deck list, anything past that, then it's probably leaning towards them. Yeah, we're just trying to go as fast as possible here. Worthwhile doing the rearranging for the Omen on the Regent and the impending cost on the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. So I really like all 4 Twinflame Tyrants in a deck list that's rocking 3 Calamities. Sometimes you play Gruul Surprise, sometimes Calamity didn't even make the cut. Maybe we had too many legendaries packed in. Other times, maybe Calamity only made the cut as a one of or something. It still made sense to try out the Twinflame Tyrant in those surprises, which, by the way, Gruul Surprise, we've visited this, I'd say, quite a few times since Smuggler Surprise released, right? And we've had just so many different versions. I mean, this version performed the best, but I'm pretty sure we got very lucky in a lot of those matches. So I mean, more testing required. It should be jank. It should be. That being said, we got a lot of really solid ramp and some pretty decent early removal. And it's like I said when I was going over the deck list for Burst Lightning, if you're not using it as early removal, there's a real chance that Burst Lightning could help you close up the game later on. With so much ramp packed in, the kicker cost is not going to be unheard of. There's going to be moments where you have Twinflame Tyrant on the board, doubling that damage. So it's just any source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, deals double that damage instead. So if you do have a Twinflame Tyrant and you kick this, you're doing 8 damage just from the Burst Lightning alone. Which honestly, with all 4 Tyrants, it's kind of tempting to swap out a couple of Molten Exhales for a Lightning Strike at that point, right? If you ever have more than 1 Tyrant on the board, it stacks. So it doubles it and then doubles it, right? So all of a sudden, extra burn is getting super duper deadly. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why if you have Tyrant and you use Calamity Saddle, you swing with Calamity, you get 2 more Twinflame Tyrants swinging in the air. It doubles it, doubles it, doubles it, right? So that's a lot of damage. I'm not going to math it out right now, but the same concept with it when you copy the Behemoth. It's a ton of damage. You don't even have to math it out. Math is for blockers, and I'm pretty sure the blockers won't be doing math. It's that much damage, right? But it could be fun to math out. Maybe after I'm done recording, I'll sit down and think about mathing it out. Or you guys can let me know in the comments. If you had no other creatures and you surprise a Calamity and a Behemoth and saddle the Behemoth, or saddle the Calamity with the Behemoth, how much damage is that? And if you had no other creatures on the board. A similar concept, Calamity saddling Twinflame Tyrant. How much damage is that if, let's say, the Twinflame Tyrants get through in the air or something? Anyways, Ghalta. Ghalta coming in handy in that last one, kind of, sort of, but we didn't need it either. What all Ghalta ended up doing was getting Ghalta down with the Overlord too. Outside of that, if we missed the Ghalta and all we saw was Behemoth and Calamity, that's all we really needed in that last game to win. So I like that the early ramp, well, I don't really want to call it early because this is our 3 mana ramp. I like that our 3 mana ramp also is just creatures that you can drop with the surprise. I just think that's so neat. And at that point too, there are going to be moments, there are going to be games, maybe you're up against aggro or something, and you're just barely holding on. You got like 1 life remaining, and you surprise like a Bloomvine Regent and a Twinflame Tyrant, and now you're gaining off the Regent, you're gaining off the Tyrant because the Tyrant's a dragon too. Or what if you surprise 2 Bloomvine Regents? And don't forget, surprise is in fact a surprise because it is at instant speed. So there could be a moment where the opponent's swinging in, they think they're about to win. You drop a surprise, drop 2 Bloomvine Regents. Now you're blocking their best creatures too, and you're gaining 3 from both Regents' abilities. You'd gain 12 at that point, right? Because of how it would stack. Yeah, I think so, maybe. So some things about the deck list that I would change is I'm considering dropping a couple exhales for a couple lightning strikes, because I do think that the burn's going to be important, but you still want it to be early enough to, and you want it to be enough damage to still deal with the opponent's early game. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of early game. There's a lot of hyper aggressive deck lists that seem impossible to get around sometimes. And so even this 8 pieces of early removal doesn't seem like enough. And sometimes, since it's burn, it's going to miss early on too. Sometimes their creatures are just going to get over it. So Llanowar Elves survived a lot today. Even when it doesn't survive, it's still worthwhile. At the very least, it gets a piece of spot removal out of the opponent's hand. So now maybe something doesn't die later on once you establish it. Out of all the Gruul surprise deck lists that we've put together on the channel too, this is one of the cleanest. We got a lot of 4-ofs. We know what we're going for. Even the mana base looks relatively clean, which is pretty funny. I don't know. It's nice looking, isn't it? Especially once we do the rearranging for the curve too, to peek out over the 3 drops here to help us ramp into that late game. At 24 mana, it felt right. Even with the deck thinning on Regent and Fabled Passage too, I mean, yeah, it was just fine, right? Like the mana didn't hold us up. The dual lands didn't hold us up. Opting for all the early dual lands makes a lot of sense here because the early game's so important and you need to establish it. If you have 2 mana and a Llanowar Elves and you're thinking, oh man, I'm going to get that Bloomvine Regent Omen on turn 3, and Llanowar Elves dies before that, and now you top deck a tapped land, say we had like Surveil lands in here instead, well, that's going to be pretty sad because now you play your tapped land, you only have 2 open, you don't have the Omen. Instead, we're opting for as many untapped sources early on as possible. So we see an untapped source, now we still have the Omen, even though the Llanowar Elves dies. That's kind of the concept over here. And another thing too, if we split the Verge and think the Verge is only a red source, which it's going to happen sometimes. Fabled Passage is helping us grab basics as well as the Omen on the Bloomvine. But anyways, if you look at it that way, then we have 8 green sources and 6 red sources, which is much closer to the actual split over here too. So that's important, something I didn't bring up earlier in the video. All right. I think that's everything, actually, guys. I thought I had a lot more to say. I guess I still said a lot. So we could consider some card draw. We could consider some burn that can actually hit the opponent's face. Outside of that, I liked what the deck list was doing. If we're going up card draw, by the way, I don't know exactly what card draw you want to go up. Maybe like Trailblazer, because Trailblazer acts as potential ramp 2. If you plot it up on turn 3 successfully, when it enters, you add 1 mana of any color. So you can kind of think of this as ramp as well, and kind of strategically wait as it's plotted up over there. There's a lot of other issues with Trailblazer, I would say, though. I can't think of any of the issues, but if we played with Trailblazer, let's say we had 4 of them, I'm not 100% convinced. I guess it's just like a gut feeling. However, the extra card draw would really help. But also, guys, it does say power 4 or greater, and Twinflame Tyrant's power is only 3, so that is definitely a thing. There will be games where you only see Tyrant and Trailblazer or something, and then what? It's not even acting as the card draw at that point. So if you go up something like Trailblazer, the card draw is going to be excellent. Trailblazer still dies to a lot, though, even mono red just popping it with a Burst Lightning. But what I would drop is probably the Twinflame Tyrant, because everything else fits that power 4 or greater theme. I'm just double checking real quick. Yeah. But I feel like it would be pretty sad to drop the Twinflame Tyrant, because you're getting rid of that very small dragon theme for the Exhale. At that point, you're probably looking at maybe Burst Light. Lightning Strike. But if you're dropping the Twinflame Tyrant, then there's less reason to hit the opponent's face anyways. So maybe just different removal at that point. And as you continue to go down that path, you're just going to completely strip the deck apart and make it a completely different Gruul Surprise deck list too, probably. So yeah, I'd say there's a lot of ways to put this together. I do like all 4 Craterhoof Behemoths in my Gruul Surprise, though. I'll probably, when I visit Smuggler Surprise again, I would not be surprised if all 4 Behemoths made the cut again. So, alright guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.